Your holiday in Europe will actually begin the moment you board your Canadian Pacific Empress polar flight. As a preview of the delightful meals which await you in Europe, you'll be served tasty appetizers, luxurious gourmet meals, and even cocktails if you wish. While you try to decide which of the mouth-watering desserts to choose, your big jet-powered airliner will be whisking you to your exciting destination. You'll arrive at the airport at Amsterdam relaxed and ready to begin your sightseeing. As your big jet-powered plane comes to a halt and you and your fellow passengers disembark, you'll be glad that you chose this city for your arrival, since Amsterdam is one of the finest gateway cities for seeing all of Europe. The old Amsterdam City Hall dominates the central plaza of the city, and from this plaza radiate old streets like the Dam, which still reflect the old Dutch atmosphere. However, to really get the feeling of Old Holland, you'll want to take a boat ride through the canals of Old Amsterdam. Special, glass-enclosed canal boats take you under the many bridges of the city. Your boat will glide past old guild houses and private mansions, some of them 300 or more years old. Old hotels overhang the canals, and all parts of the canal system retain the charm of the olden days. From here, you'll perhaps decide to travel over to Alkmaar with its famous cheese market, only about an hour's drive from Amsterdam. Here are sold the famous round Edam cheeses. Perhaps you'll even watch as some Dutch cheese buyers take a sample core of a cheese shipment. They test the consistency of the cheese and taste it. Then they negotiate by slapping hands until a price agreement is reached. In this little town, at the cheese market held every Friday until noon, you'll find women of the nearby areas who come to market dressed in some of the beautiful Dutch costumes. The close-fitting headdress is made of intricately woven lace and is typical of this province. Most visitors are greatly intrigued by the special and ornate gold pins worn with this headdress on each side of the forehead. These are made in a traditional design handed down from generation to generation. A short distance down the coast, in the Flemish areas of Belgium nearby, you might be able to attend a typical festival of the shrimp fishermen. Here you'll find youngsters dressed in fishing costumes, and you'll watch with pleasure as they dance their old Flemish dances while wearing wooden shoes. The children are joined by older participants, also dressed in fishermen's costumes, and these too dance, to the delight of the many spectators. From here, it's just a short boat ride or plane flight to London, the gateway for all of England and Wales. In Piccadilly Circus, amidst the bustling traffic in the double-decker buses, you might ask a typical London bobby for directions to the Tower of London. These bobbies get their name from Sir Robert Peel, who reorganized the London police force many years ago. At the Tower of London, you'll admire the old castle dating back to the 11th century, and then you'll want to see St. Paul's Cathedral overlooking Fleet Street. From here, you'll certainly want to visit Buckingham Palace. At the palace, residents of the Queen of England and her family, the palace guards still proudly make their traditional movements as they pace their assigned posts. Ceremonies and parades abound in London, and perhaps you'll even be able to witness the Trooping the Colours ceremony. No trip to London is complete without a visit to Hyde Park, where the spectators have every right to argue with the speaker if they don't agree with him. Arguments on every subject under the sun are warmly pursued here in this citadel of free speech. All of England awaits you when you use London as your headquarters. A parade of Scottish bagpipers might remind you to take a pleasant side trip to Scotland, just a short plane ride from London. Without a doubt, you'll want to go to Paris, too, on your holiday in Europe. And almost before you know it, your plane will be over the famed Arc de Triomphe in the heart of the city. As your plane glides low over the city, you'll thrill at the realization that you're really here in Paris. When you land, perhaps an excursion boat on the Seine will give you your first view of the Eiffel Tower. If you decide to visit the renowned Louvre Museum, you'll find there some of the most famous paintings and sculpture in the world. Sculpture like the unforgettable Venus de Milo, for example. But if your inclinations run in other directions, you'll also find some of Europe's famous nightclubs awaiting you. Switzerland might be your next destination, with its picturesque towns like Lucerne, proud of its old covered bridges. Or Bern, with its traditional statue fountains. The renowned mountain scenery of Switzerland attracts most visitors. Here in Switzerland, the grandeur of the Alps is world famous. And here also, the great Matterhorn beckons the traveler and climber with its unique shape. Near the Matterhorn are found some awe-inspiring glaciers. If your holiday then takes you to Rome, the Roman Forum will unfold its magnificence for you right in the heart of the city. The famed Colosseum is just a few blocks away. Once, almost 50,000 Romans at one time could watch gladiators fight to the death in this arena. In contrast is the peace and quiet of St. Peter's Cathedral in the Vatican City, an independent city completely inside Rome itself. South of Rome, at Naples, you can visit the Castel dell'Ovo, the old Castle of the Egg, overlooking the famed harbor of Santa Lucia. And perhaps you'll thrill to the music and dancing of the Neapolitan tarantella at Sorrento, just a few miles away over the Amalfi Drive. The view here at Sorrento is an unforgettable experience. Spain will then beckon you, and in Madrid, you'll find not only unique older buildings like these, but also shining, modern, new buildings like these typical apartment houses. In the heart of Madrid, you can relax in the hundreds of beautiful acres of Retiro Park with its lovely boating lake and its monument to Alfonso XII. In front of one of the biggest skyscrapers in the center of the city, you'll find a statuary group of the legendary Don Quixote and his faithful retainer, Sancho Panza. These will remind you of Spain's literary heritage. At the Prado Museum in Madrid, you'll be reminded of the artistic heritage of Spain. Inside are some of the most famous paintings in all of the world, by Velázquez, Goya, Murillo, El Greco, and many others. Budding artists often copy these masterpieces. Perhaps you'll decide to attend a bullfight in Madrid. This Spanish ritual is considered a must by many visitors, while others prefer not to see it. But everyone likes to eat the unique and delicious special foods of Spain as prepared by the many delightful restaurants here. Segovia, about 60 miles northwest of Madrid, offers a thrilling panorama of the entire city from a nearby cross-covered hill. And in this city, you'll gaze in amazement at the unforgettable castle called the Alcazar. At Pamplona, still further north, giant, grotesque figures called gigantones amuse and please thousands of visitors from all over the world during fiesta time. Each figure is carried by one man inside. These unique figures dance to special music. And to that music, they perform their humorous yet stately dances. south of Spain, the glories of the Alhambra will beckon you with its famous Court of the Lions. While at the Sacromonte Caves nearby, the gypsies of Granada will entertain you with their gypsy flamenco dances. As your trip continues to Lisbon, Portugal, you'll find the modern vistas of this hill-situated city indescribably beautiful. To help you climb these hills, there's an unusual elevator, an outside elevator, which takes you up to the higher levels of the street. This Lisbon landmark was built by the famed Gustav Eiffel, of Eiffel Tower fame. The streets here are filled with the well-dressed people of cosmopolitan Lisbon. Almost every Portuguese is a fan of fado, the singing of the special sad songs of the country. The restaurants specializing in these songs are almost always filled, not only because of the songs, but also because of the fine food. On the outskirts of town, the presidential guards present a changing of the guards ceremony every day. Perhaps you didn't know there were plumed guards like these in Portugal. Just a short distance outside of Lisbon is the famed Tower of Belém, a beautiful Manueline tower dating back to the 1500s. From this very tower, many of the old Portuguese explorers sailed off to discover new parts of the then unknown world. A few miles up the coast are the seaside resorts of Estoril and Cascais. Here you can relax on the beach if you wish, under the typical sunshades. Or you might prefer to take a dip in the Atlantic. Or a ride in a bicycle boat. Only 2 hours farther up the coast, and you can visit renowned Nazaré, with its half-moon boats and colorfully costumed fishermen. You'll certainly want to see folk dancing on your visit to Portugal. At Salvatierra de Magos, these very young dancers might demonstrate their skill for you. Most of these youngsters are less than 15 years old. All this and much more awaits you on your travels through enchanting Europe. And when your Canadian Pacific Empress airliner wings you back to North America from Lisbon, you'll always remember your thrilling holiday in Europe.